Oh,
But instead, it's
that's
the Speed Viper. They decide to be dirty. They do this Viper Winter Wyvern lane. This is like the third time they've done it in the tournament.
it's just not okay, really. It's gonna be so effective, but it's just kind of gross. But now, Osmium, how are you going to address this issue? The last time we saw the Viper earlier today, we were sort of talking about teams potentially being able to still punish it if you can stay in that Viper's face. I guess the Beastmaster might help on that front with the Roar, but at this point, what kind of mid option would they be looking for to sort of keep that pace? Because the Storm's already out.
Oh, the Dead Ringer's Ember, right? Of course you are playing versus last pick here, and I think there is a little bit of that fear where Ryoya gets kind of whatever kind of lane he wants, but at the same time, Ryoya's just been playing Pango pretty much the entire tournament. Would they pick Pango into Beastmaster? Maybe not, but uh, yeah, I think Ember is probably the easy one. This is that awkward situation where neither team can really afford to get their best choice because, yeah, all of the spirits, all the mid laners should be taken out here. DogChamp at the end of the day, depending on what they see, could run the Viper mid. We could see them do maybe that switch up depending on what Osmium go for, but at the same time, I feel like DogChamp and picking up so many ranged heroes are lacking a little bit more of that front line, maybe a little bit more of an initiator. They're already throwing that balance that I always highlight in those lanes because they do have that kind of double range setup. And versus a Luna, it is pretty sad because the Luna is just going to kind of barely walk up to a wave, eat 5 stacks, get Arctic burned, and then run away because Luna is basically a melee hero. She's like in between, a little bit better than TA, but certainly not the best ranged hero in the game at being that. But I do feel like that's where heroes like the Ember, like the Pango. Honestly, Pango for Osmium would be great. I almost feel like Dogship need to ban it out.
And I don't know, if you do that, do you just sort of take the benefits and you sort of overwrite the concerns with the Bane on the other side and just kind of play it out?
Yeah, I think that's what you do, just because, as we always talk about, heroes that are going to be able to gank this Viper's lane, slow him down, didn't get to see too many ganks on that Viper before, and I think falling behind is going to be a major concern. And at the end of the day here, if Osmium end up picking a strength mid laner, then, well, DogChamp could flip the script on us, and we could still see the Timbersaw. I think this is probably DogChamp's best draft that we've seen so far in the tournament. They really are working last pick, where every single team has been prioritizing first pick because of the Storm shenanigans that's been going on. But when teams really get a nice last pick draft, I think DogChamp kind of have exactly that.
Put themselves in a nice position here. We've got one final ban coming out from them, so they already removed, excuse me, already removed the Leshrac. If I was thinking for a moment, if they really wanted to, they could try and just completely nuke it out and maybe even just ban away the Ember Spirit, but leave them with some sort of tough decisions to make themselves. But they're the team that has the last pick, and yeah, they'll use the ban on the puck instead. So at this point, ET, Osmium, what do you think? Do they go for something like the Pangolier here still?
Yeah, the
It's not a
Claw.
Pang.
Yeah, it's your safe pick. We have to pick our mid laner here on 23. We need a ranged hero, someone who's not going to get shut out. Unfortunately, I haven't seen the matchup in a while, but Viper versus Quap, if I remember correctly, was not the prettiest matchup. If DogChamp do still want to switch up everything and then go for maybe a less ideal situation laning wise for speed, but then I feel like we should see a pretty great time for Rioya. Not most likely going to see that Ember Spirit now, just because if we do, the lane's a little bit scuffed versus the Queen of Pain. You are going to eat a lot of that harassment. Of course, once you hit level 6, harassment isn't really an issue for the Ember Spirit, but until then, it could be a little bit of a struggle. They would love a very mobile hero, though. That's where DogChamp are very weak. They are very set up, get in front of each other, walk to a lane, play as 5. They're a complete unit, but that's also where Osmium can start to kind of out-rotate you in this game. You already know Beastmaster is going to be anchoring down one of the lanes. Luna is going to be going for that Manta style. At least Katara Luna, I know, goes for the Manta style. Doesn't really play with the Dragonlance BKB Crit Agshard build. He really does like to just kind of split the map, get those big items instead, and then look for you, or rather his win on those avenues. But that's where I think someone to actually look for those heroes on the edge of the map is going to be very important, and that's where Ryoya and a killer could be their best choice. But no, Viper versus Quap, Timbersaw pick at the end of the day. Done.
Well, do you think that that is worth maybe having Ryoya's Viper not have as much fun against the Queen of Pain here to have that Timber Saw to punish the rest of the lineup?
Well, that's the thing. I think Ryoya should have a good time versus the Quap. That's the matchup that I don't know because I haven't seen in quite a long time. But in the ages of past, you dumpstered Queen of Pain because you can't Shadow Strike the Viper. I feel like that's where we're probably going to see Sebas just forgo the Shadow Strike entirely and just look to nuke out his wave. But that's where I think Speed's lane maybe takes a hit because he's playing versus, well, the Ogre and the Luna. That's a very stable lane. That's a very safe lane for him. But once everything starts to break down, I feel like DogChamp got exactly what they wanted. And of course, seeing Rhea on this Viper again, you'd hope he doesn't die as much as he did on his last Viper. But I think that's where this lane should be set up. It should be a win for the Viper. Unless Sebas really works the matchup and probably just goes for the nuke build and then just tries to outfarm him, then we could see the Queen of Pain catch up in gold. But I really want to see Rhea just take Sebas to town here.
Yeah, that would be just so ideal for excuse me, for DogChamp. If you could just bully that middle lane, right? Take the Queen of Pain out of the equation so that she's not able to really sort of be that tempo setting ganking hero that we usually see. So that's the game plan. That is the strategy on paper. We shall see who gets the better of their opponent in that middle lane as we do get this first game underway. Osmium versus DogChamp. And just to clarify, because I know it's been a little bit different every single time we've been talking about it, but we will just really nail it home here for DogChamp. Ryoya and Speed are playing for them once again. Their lineups kind of fluctuated a little bit recent times, but those two will be the ones in here along with the usual trio for the rest, Stonebank, B9, and Yarn.
Where is Lukey? Where is he? If you see him go live in 2 hours, then I guess you'll know. But yeah, it's been fun though. Honestly, seeing
Oh,
the
yeah.
I don't even call them fresh faces. They're not fresh at all. They're old. They're getting up there. They're in their late 20s. Kidding.
Wow.
But
Let's call
um,
him out.
no, it's great to see it, especially with Speed, a native-born offlaner who's really, you could say, picking up speed. Getting a lot of MMR. He's breaking away for that 11K now. Just seeing some fresh high skill faces is always fun to see. You hate to see the same people lose. It's fun when you get to see other people lose and win. Mostly lose though.
Oh, mostly lose. But see what they can do here is Catyu, you are very, very close to danger, but DogChamp don't pull the trigger. They'll go for the bounties instead, although Speed is going to spot Catyu, but E9's just that little too far away, and actually he hasn't skilled up anything in the first place. So, not really going to be much of an opportunity there, but should just see these two supports slowly make their way over to their lanes while they continue to beat the absolute crap out of each other.
Yeah, and I'm looking over at top. Stonebank ended up getting disrupted by Sladen, but that trade's not really going to matter either. But do they actually stay in these lanes here? I think Yarn has made his way all the way top to perhaps try and get the situation where it's going to be a Wyvern versus Arctic Burn, but I don't know if this is what they wanted. This is kind of what happened when they ended up going for the trades on their respective sides of the map, but it's a little bit awkward now.
Yeah. You think maybe Yaren's up here to try and take those boars out a little bit faster? You got the burn, you got the Splinter Blast. Maybe you can just get that out of there quickly.
Yeah, I mean that's an option. That's not a bad option by any means. Unfortunately, Yarn does just get scouted out by the Hawk here, but it's where I really feel like they could have hammered home
Ooh.
perhaps the lane versus Guitaro. But yeah,
Okay. Can
that's
they
your
get
level
it?
1 DK. Nice
Not,
disruption. Yeah.
that is not a bad combo. It's a kind of expensive one, though. Got to use the Arctic Burn for that, but you can put pressure onto your Beastmaster, then there's not a whole lot that Drekken's going to be able to do here, even if Sladen does sort of set him up with some sort of disruption play.
Oh man. Keeping two boars alive though, when they go for those kills and they don't get them, then well, the boars just kind of get to walk away free, and then that's not your ideal situation. Again, I don't know. I feel like the Bane would have maybe done a little bit better job, especially trading versus Sladen, because I feel like right now Yarn's kind of tapped. So in doing so, they're kind of losing out on a little bit of these trades here.
time. Bloody Nine is down in that bottom lane, trading with Katyu, and this is just kind of an interesting one, because now Bane is someone with the Brain Sap who might be a little bit more sustainable in terms of trading off that damage, but you're never really going to win that trade against Katyu, right?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit more of a larger issue. I think perhaps it could be with the armor from the ogre that they decided to put the Bane down here just because he hits maybe a little bit harder and then has the pure damage to make it happen. But it's a little bit strange, honestly, especially because B9, I feel like he's been attached to Stonebank at the hip for most of this tournament. So seeing them be so far apart, it's a little bit strange just looking at the kind of from the outset here.
Long pause. Meanwhile, what's going on mid? Sebas is taking a pretty substantial amount of damage there. 3 stacks on the poison isn't enough to kill him. Does push him back a bit, and regen's a little bit low here for Sebas. No water runes coming up for like a minute, so it looks like he's going to try and prioritize the bounty at this point. But this is a little bit of what we wanted to see, right? Get the Viper in there and just kind of bully the Queen of Pain as hard as you can.
Yeah, and I was watching this lane a little bit at those early levels. Sebas honestly did a really good job getting what he has right now. Kind of inundated Rioya with creeps. Had to take a lot of it under tower. And the one thing about Viper is you can't be poison attacking the opposing team while you're going for those last hits. So it ended up being more of a trade than I think Rioya might have been happy with. But now it's just a zoning battle as they do get the bot lane first blood. Really easy kill into B9. Just kind of ran out of resources, gave his salve over to his offlaner, and then doing so, didn't have anything for himself.
Dual stun in this bottom lane, so Katara and Cat, you do have that sort of combo to work with, and right on cue. That's one stun. There's the second stun. Speed is not having fun here as he's going to back off, but 9 will arrive. He doesn't have a salve, but delivers some tangos, has some himself that he could pass over too, so Speed should be okay, but Kataro really doesn't have a whole lot that I think he needs to be scared of right now in this lane.
Yeah, this is kind of the reason why you want Luna versus Timbersaw. You have that Magic Duke. You're really able to make a lot of those early trades kind of happen here in Speed. Okay, should be able to walk away. Yeah, the sleep was always available to them, but was scared for a second that maybe his chain was going to get canceled by that Lucent Beam. And that's the other aspect about it. If you don't get that chain away, if you get interrupted, you just end yourself up in such a horrible situation. I think there is another salve coming out, but a lot of resources being pumped into this Timbersaw. And a lot of XP, unfortunately, that Bloody Nine has been kind of almost inadvertently tanking because you need this Bane to kind of babysit right now.
Right, and that is something that I kind of want to ask you with Speed getting 2 points up in the reactive. Where do you think that equilibrium point is, where Speed's going to be okay by himself and B9 can start rotating?
Yeah, well, usually, whenever Speed gets about level 5, you should be able to be just kind of on your own here. But that's, again, the exception in the lane, where this is always going to be a struggle. And it's unfortunate, because Speed is the type of Timbersaw where he gets 3 points in Timber Chain. He's really looking for gunning, for kills. Doesn't like to really be this shutout, but he really is kind of struggling. I mean, he's about to take a ton of damage with just his 2 creeps walking back.
B9 was able to get a creep pull at least, so that will affect the equilibrium a bit as Sebas going to get beat in that middle lane. See if there's any fight actually developing here down bot, because Kataro's not backing off just yet, but he will eventually decide against going any further. But that is Ryoya getting that first kill on the board for DogChamp.
Yep, just a little bit of a soul kill there. Hit level 6 a lot earlier than that Queen of Pain, but
Oh, wow.
that's why we wanted this.
He's 5.5. That's a bit of a rough one for Sebas, and let's see how they play out around the runes right now. There's an illusion that Sebas is going to be able to sneak, but he just blinked in. Hold up. Sebas, I don't know if that was a great idea. He is going to get punished heavily for this. He's just dead. That's not worth an illusion rune, my guy.
That's really sad, actually. Well, Quap's game is over. That's probably what he's saying right now, even though, his game's not over, but it certainly should feel like it. And there is a problem with this Viper in the mid lane. You kind of have this issue of what item do I actually want to go for? You could get the Boots of Travel. You could look for, like, a Kai Assange. The hero really doesn't hit that same power spike as maybe some previous iterations of items were kind of able to, but that's also where you kind of force your Shadow Demon to take over the mid lane because someone needs to get the XP while Sebas makes the walk back. So Drakazan is lonesome, gets forced back to the tower. More space, more rotations. If they can spin this mid lane into one lanes across the board, DogChamp are going to be incredibly happy with this laning stage.
See, talking about the Viper sort of itemization build here, looks like right now he's just going to go for the stats and the attack speed, which, I don't know, that kind of feels like maybe a middle ground here at this point, where he could transition out of that if he needs to, or could just go sort of full in onto the Hurricane Pike. But I think Ryoya's in a position to just rotate now. He's got his TP, he's got his ult back up. Could look for kills elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, and this is
That's
very
a lot of
reactive.
TPs.
Yeah, probably get the Beastmaster though. Don't think Ryoya is going to be pretty happy with that. He would love to get a solo kill in Slane without a TP. I think Ryoya, yeah, probably just tracks this down. That's a nice play from him, just knowing that his teammates got the other kill. I'm going to get a solo kill for my own, but this is one of the issues of this Viper being slotted in like it has in this draft here. Ryoya is very immobile. He needs the towers to get out to make those easy plays. Because he goes top, he doesn't get this arcane rune. Sebas gets a lot of that pressure, and the more this Viper actually rotates out, the more time Sebas actually gets the free space to find his own voice in this game. And sure, he's got 2 kills, or rather 2 deaths. Hasn't had the nicest time ever, but it's where pure damage, you just need the right moment, and then you could certainly turn this game around.
Try to buy Sebas some time here. There's some stacked camps for him to work with, so Wildwing Ripper kind of pushes him, and Yaren is hanging out nearby, and they do have vision over this jungle. Do they try it? Yarn and B9 are sort of hanging out, but you got Viper pushing onto the tier 1 tower right now, so it might just be more valuable for him to continue getting that damage as opposed to chasing after a kill.
Yeah, and this is also the nice thing about Viper. You know you still have a lead. Maybe, yeah, he's level 9 while Sebas is barely level 7. We'll be able to pick up some more XP here, but all of that chip, whenever that Queen of Pain rotates out, goes to the small camp, goes to the jungle. Jungle that is also a little bit stacked up. He was able to farm it maybe a little bit before, but I feel like Sebas wants to use his Arcane Rune in some capacity here. He also knows that Bloody Nine is just kind of sitting on top of him right now, so it's not the prettiest situation for him to find a recovery, because over at bottom, Speed got his level 6. His lane really cooled down, and with Guitar rotating out, Catyu is doing the hero play here. He's bringing a full creep wave over towards that Luna, but the bottom lane is pretty much over. It's done. Once that 10-minute cart comes over, you can imagine they're going to go for a kill there, as Yaren, he's dead. Gets roared.
Okay. Nice response there from Osmium to find themselves a kill. Draken's going to be able to get some chip damage onto the tier 1 tower, and I guess now... Well, now we're in kind of a weird race, I guess, between the offlaners, right? In terms of who can get this tower first and then start making rotations elsewhere.
And really, it is whether or not Speed can become a shield before the game is kind of underfoot here. It's where Yaren is also a much more capable 5 at defending his tower. Catyu can really just run around in circles and try to cut the wave, and it's what he's going to do with this cart. But as soon as Speed can actually rotate towards either mid or top to trade places with Yaren, then we've got a big problem on Osmium. How we find our way onto our next objective is not the clearest, and with mid lane going as bad as it has, Sebas needs to find an opening to really crack open the map right now, because otherwise DogChamp get to spiral these 1 lanes into even more towers.
That was a nip play from B9 there. He just casually draws the aggro on the camp so that you can't really pull that creep wave any further. Of course, yeah, now it's fighting creep camps, so Speed has to pull the opposing wave over, but it's a net gain. Siege creep gets onto the tier 1 and they're able to take it down, and now we'll see. Does Timbersaw sort of at this point make a move, or does he stay down here for a little bit longer? He could maybe just go for the Put a Defiance finished off first.
Yeah, probably waits for this card to be dead, and then could either go towards that mid lane, or honestly could just be farming, because he's taking half of Kataro's jungle if Kataro ever decides to come back here, but it's where Speed doesn't really have a bad option, as we usually say. If they go for a dive top, though, you know Speed's going to try and get involved. He's max mana, just finished off the hood. He's actually getting stacks right now for that rotation, and yep, there he comes. Need to get out here. The Hawk does scout out that TP, and Draken actually,
Uses the roar defensively, but he didn't get B9, so he's going to turn around with the Fiend's Grip, and Draken is not dead initially, but they'll clean him up. Sebas did still get the tower, so at least you claim that objective, but now there are problems. Sladen's TP has been canceled. Speed is just staring him down, and eventually will finish him off. But while that happened, over in the middle lane, Ryoya found himself a kill onto Katyu. Pops the Viper Strike, pops the DD rune, and, well, 3 kills for your tier 1 tower. If you're DogChamp, you're still liking the overall results here, right?
yeah, no, you're super pleased with that. Ryoya getting a kill on the Ogre, probably just Katyu overextending a little bit. The mid lane is still really a no-go. Ryoya hasn't lost his grip, and Osmium have been unable to out-rotate him. You haven't seen Osmium bring the numbers, and that's really what you have to do versus Viper. You can really only output a lot of damage on the one, so you might as well stop him before the snowball gets rolling, but now Ryoya is looking at items like the BKB. Now Osmium are running out of space to farm. If the Beastmaster does take over this top lane, then your Queen of Pain has nowhere to farm. And this is a nice kill if Sebas can get it here onto Yaren. Yaren might just keep the juke going for another 5 seconds, though. That's super well played from him. Probably going to get taken down, though.
B9's coming over.
Oh, no.
Man. Sebas is going to come away empty-handed here, it appears, unless he gets... Nope, okay. Unless he gets just a perfect guess on that blink, but not able to make it happen. Katyu has rotated in as well, and we're starting to put some bodies in this top lane, ET. You got Speed TPing in as well. They might look to do this because Katyu is now completely stuck. They're going to hit him with the Winter's Curse. I think Yarn was maybe hoping that Sebas was still going to be in that, but even without the Queen of Pain, that's still a big kill for him.
Yeah, and, well, that was a lot of heroes. Those 4 heroes for a 5. You know, you still get to move around. How Osmium really fill the map with their heroes is going to be the name of the game. I do not think they can fight DogChamp right now. The strongest tool they have is that roar, as, oh my goodness, Speed just chunks Sebas and he has to go back to base. But ideally what they have here is Draken playing in this dangerous part of the map, a very dangerous part of the map, and that's why he is very dead, even if he cancels the grip, but there's no Centaur Stomp. Unfortunately, hopefully he doesn't lose his hood creep, but that's where maybe Ryoya takes that out too. Nice little chunk of gold for the Viper, but Draken has to play here. If he is playing top, then the Queen of Pain gets nothing. He has to play in the in-between. At the very least, he can jungle, but this is all in an effort to get Kataro as much farm as possible bottom. But unfortunately, Kataro's going for the Manta build. This is not going to be your very useful 20-minute timing on the Luna where you get your Ag Shard and a crit stick, and then you threaten Roche. This is Kataro looking for a Scotty, and this would be a nice call on the Stone Bank. This would actually be perfect for them. He's so tanky, though.
They have to kill that creep. They're not able to do so, and now they're just going to back out, which means Sladen is once again going to be sacrificed. Honestly, I feel like Kataro could have just killed that creep and then made his escape afterwards, so that kind of feels a little rough for your Shadow Demon, but very nice instincts from Ryoya. Just TP in, take advantage of those boots of travel, and Osmium really are just getting pushed back again and again.
Yeah, and they did glyph the creep, so it was it felt for a second that maybe they were able to get it just kind of accidentally, but that's Ryoya. Any mid laner knows that pain of getting your boots of travel TP canceled. He was really ready to go on it.
Appreciate that. Your eyes caught it, mine did not. So nifty play from DogChamp, but now Osmium, well, they've moved Kataro up here. They've got 4 heroes in the area as well. Sonic Wave is ready, so maybe they could make something happen. The problem is the only hero here is Speed, and this is not a hero that you really want to jump in on, especially if you're now diving a tier 2 tower.
No stacks, though. Speed actually has to be pretty cautious here. Just got his Kaya, I believe, delivered to him, but needs to be very careful. Also losing your creeps, and with the cart dead, look at how many DogChamp heroes are in between here, and yeah, Stonebank, he's got to be able to get onto Kataro. This Luna is just so far out and is not a hero right now.
What did he disrupt? Oh, he disrupted the wrong hero. He got Stonebank instead, or I think even Stonebank's illusion, not the actual hero. So Kataro gets taken down, those illusions get cleaned up, and ET, I don't know if the disruption's enough to save the Luna even if it's on the right target, but without the disruption, there's just no way.
Yeah, I think Osmium just need to take a step back here. They really just need to farm, to be honest. They cannot make plays right now. There's nothing they can itemize or really build up that's going to change that fact, as Katyu is going to keep this kill going maybe a little bit longer here, but Stonebank should get it with the next Rift. But, yeah, nighttime. Nighttime's annoying. Okay. I guess he's going to give that one up, but it still doesn't change the fact that this map is just not being used right now by Osmium. You're going to need to see them really play on these outskirts. The real rotation that needs to happen is Osmium splitting the map, forcing DogChamp to TP back, and then the split coming as Speed might just be able to get slain here. Guess is wrong, and actually into a Kataro.
Eclipse is nice, but not quite nice enough. That hood really sort of helping out Speed there. And Sladen is still kind of in no man's land at them. He has a TP, though. He could just go back home really whenever he wants, but he's a team player. He'll drop down the vision first and even snipe out a courier. So, snipe out a courier. There you go, Sladen. Needed one last hit to finish it off, but he gets it now. He'll TP back.
Yeah, and I think really something that DogChamp is doing so well is they're just in the correct hero pairings. They're not really letting themselves get picked up all too much. Whenever Speed is in danger, you have Stonebank coming in behind you. Whenever Stonebank's in danger, you've got Speed right around the corner. Rioyo's really the only one playing a little bit by himself, and he can afford to because he has those boots of travel. Any team fight can join, but that's also where Osmium need to recognize that this Viper's alone. If we get 5 heroes on him, if we can find that smoke, we should be able to isolate and kill him. And you want to find the Boots of Travel carry. You don't want to find the rest of his team. As Draken, nice roar. He'll be able to walk away from that one. But again, your biggest tool on the map is getting used really for nothing in return. I just am worried at how much of a net worth lead DogChamp can get and how slow Osmium are really itemizing. They're not getting this next fight going for them. They're not really brute forcing their way into anything. I just wonder if Qatar's going to be able to do everything and honestly anything and everything on this Luna.
And you look at some of the items that DogChamp are starting to pick up. That was a Blink. Stonebank got delivered out to him. BKB is now up on Ryoya. So as you said, you would love to try and punish that Boots of Travel carrier who's by himself, but he's got the magic immunity as he TPs in there. That's going to force Sebas to blink and TP away, but while that's happening, there's a fight in the top lane. They're able to take Kataro was able to take Yaren out. They will lose one of their supports in exchange. Bit of a trade-off there, and Stonebank is having some difficulties with the disruption illusions, so wasn't really able to immediately push out for another kill. It's a 1-for-1 trade there, but over in the middle lane, Sebas is out for blood, but he runs into the Fiend's Grip. Speed's just going to be able to turn around, but Kataro comes in, cancels that out. No Fiend's Grip any longer, but Speed still has the angle with the Chakram. They find the kill. Now the Eclipse has to be used, but while he's eclipsing, he's running away from his teammates. He kills Bloody 9, but he leaves Draken and Katyu behind, and now the fight's kind of over. They just have to back away.
Yeah, it's effectively a 4-for-1 in that situation, considering it all started with that Shadow Demon, that pushing on the top lane. It's not great, but it's a fight where at least Kataro gets a solo kill. He gets to walk away, but he's getting tracked down right now. They knew he walked down here. Unfortunately, no mantas that he can get off to push out this bottom wave, so there is a clean objective for DogChamp to now move into. Also, kind of a nice hero play from the Helm of the Dominator creep. It cut the mid wave, so Stonebank couldn't immediately start beating into mid, but you do wonder, where's that turning point going to be for Osmium? Is it going to be contesting the Roche Pit? Is it going to be once Sebas hits level 18? Is it going to be BKBs on both their cores? I just don't really see those same power spikes where DogChamp are filled to the brim with power spikes. Speed just got his Kai Assange. Ryoya's getting an Orchid of all things to just be even more obnoxious. And I think the real killer is Stonebank. Once he gets this heart, I mean, what do you do if you're Osmium? There's just not that much damage for you right now.
We're talking about Osmium maybe trying to contest Roshan. If you're DogChamp at this point, do you even look to the Roche Pit right now? Because they've got such an advantage 10k up where maybe they don't need to, although now they might have to look that way. So, sorry, ET, that question's not really relevant, because Osmium are forcing it no matter what.
Yeah, and with the Shaman as far out in the river, I feel like they should just turn into the pit now, and unfortunately, these are not enough heroes, and Katyu...
Oh,
he didn't hop!
Tumblr's toy is not enough. He is now on the run. There's the Reality Rift to pull him back in, and Stonebank, well, gonna ask if they wanted to do Roshan, but if the opposing team's gonna do about a third of the damage for you, you might as well finish it off.
Yeah, seems good. Why not? We always talk about how easy it is for Viper's teams to actually get that Roche killed off. Everybody says Stonebank, you got this, right? And of course he does, even though that's that aspect of Chaos Strike did get nerfed, you know, but doesn't really matter. Already done so much, and okay, maybe get the kill on B9. Not bad. Overextended a little bit here, maybe a little bit overconfident, and speed as well. Okay, speed's gonna do half of Draken's HP, and now this is an awkward positioning to be in if you're Osmium.
Backing themselves away. It looks like Catyu is gonna have to be sacrificed. Oh, okay. There's a little bit of good fortune there. Denies himself to the neutral instead. So he's still dead, but you don't give any extra gold up.
Yeah, it's something, right?
Take every bit that you can get. But now, DogChamp, I mean, they've got this Aegis, so at this stage, this is time. Group up, take some tier 2s. Seems pretty simple.
Yeah, and they do still have to be careful as...
Sebas.
Oh my god!
Oh, man. This is a problem. There's a disruption. Nice play from Sladen. He will die for it, but if it gets the Quap out, he did what was necessary. But at this point, they're still kind of chasing. There's going to be another blink, so Sebas should be getting away, but... Well, they found the kill, and now they're on to that tier 2. ET... High ground's not... I don't know. I was going to say not doable, but it's not going to be easy even if they go for it at this point, right?
It's not off the table, as that is a nice little pull away, but yeah, I think it's just a little bit of chip damage, a little bit more time for them to play in, and Osmium are getting a little bit right now. Kataro just finished off his BKB. Ideally, either gets a Scotty or a Butterfly before he's forced into another engagement. Actually, Silver Edge would probably be the best item he could buy right now, but again, 5,000 gold while your team is unable to move around the map, because really, high ground is the safest space right now for any of these Osmium heroes. Unfortunately, that's where all it takes is Stonebank to see you with that Blink Dagger, and then you're probably going to get taken down. And now 100 gold on that. Actually, no, not even 100 gold. Just is able to buy his heart, so it's a little unfortunate because this is a very tanky CK with an Aegis that might not be the high ground, but is certainly powerful as B9. Oh, he slept the right one. Oh, he woke it up. Nice from Kataro.
Nifty play. Oh my god. That Brain Sap just got him basically all of his health back, and this is the problem. Kataro is assuming that there's backup coming. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but he didn't know. The B9 is just able to kind of get away with one there. He really should have been picked off.
And just don't stay around here.
Stonebank, cue the Jaws theme. There he goes. Sladen's gonna get caught. That's rude. That's a 730 crit onto Sladen as well, but should get Kataro out of here. He's got his TP right now, so he could simply just pack it up and leave, but he is sticking around a little while longer. In the meantime, down in the bottom lane, there's going to be a jump onto the Viper. They hit him with the Roar. The BKB, though, came out, and Ryoya is not really killable at that point.
Yeah, just not a fast enough reaction. And, well, that's a lot of time. I like that Kataro's actually staying up here, again, getting another Manta out to push him this wave. These top two towers are very free if DogChamp can just actually get on top of them. They're going to have to glyph for this tier 1, but then you're going to want to save it for the high ground when it comes to that tier 2, so it's a lot of free gold for DogChamp if they choose to take it. So I think Kataro throwing a wrench into those works is kind of nice, but it's where Orchid reveal on actually Ryoya in the bot lane isn't actually able to keep on top of that Queen of Pain. That's where maybe the setup with the Winter's Curse could come into play, where you Orchid her just after the fact, but that still is where Sebas really has no place in this game. He is still so far behind, has really not been involved in all too much here.
And I do want to ask you about this at this point. You take a look at the Luna. Went for the Manta first, as you were talking about, but since transitioned into the BKB, now we see the Shard. So is this the pivot that you sort of agree with? Getting the Shard, maybe getting the Daedalus or something to that effect afterwards?
Shard Daedalus would certainly help. I think Shard Silver Edge, also a good item. Silver Edge is just such an important aspect, I think, for them actually being able to kill heroes like Speed. And I think that is the major issue right now, is there aren't targets on DogChamp to take out. And Stonebank, 30 seconds on his Aegis. You don't want to use anything on him. He doesn't really care.
There's a curse on Yaren. This is a little risky.
Oh,
And,
no.
Yep, he waits for the BKB, then they pop the ult, they kill off Kataro. That felt a little too predictable there, but Osmium, once they're in it, can't really find a way out.
Yeah, and now... Oh, Sebas.
Sebas? Okay, well, he's dead as well. The Aegis times out now, but I don't know if Stonebank particularly cares, because they are looking for a full lane of racks here coming up on 27 minutes into this game, and they get it with really no issues whatsoever. That just seemed like a situation where maybe Osmium weren't all on the same page, because their two most important cores are just kind of dangling too far forward.
Yeah, now flamethrower. They don't have a cart anymore, but I honestly feel like this is very free. The Luna is still the only hero on the map that you can really do anything in this game. You'd love the Luna to be level 18,
Oh
but
my.
that's not really available. There goes Sladen. Yeah, not a pretty game. I feel like this is what happens when you. I don't even want to say you lose 3 of the lanes, because bottom was a success for Kataro, but it's really just the failure of mid lane combined with the activity that safe lane CK brings to you that has kind of caused this horrible collapse for Osmium.
Oh, Taro, gotta be a little careful. Nope, not careful enough. With that Aether Lens, he's got the cast range. Does he have reinforcements, though? No one else is here. He's gonna throw the Nightmare out, trying to buy a little bit more time as Katyu's gonna go down. Yarn does have the ult up again, so they're just gonna really bait this one out. Now that Kataro is basically alone, they can focus all of their firepower onto him. He's gonna pop the Eclipse, though, trying to turn around. Draken, meanwhile, dropped the roar under Yarn, so he doesn't get the Winter's Curse off in time, but now Stonebank is gonna get involved, and Kataro's running out of time on that BKB, and they're just
Yeah,
gonna call it there.
yeah, it's too much. It's just simply too much. Yeah, I feel like this Queen of Pain was a big mistake. I thought maybe that with the way that Dota shaped up, you could just nuke out the waves, probably be fine. That's probably what they were thinking. But at the end of the day, getting 24 picked Timbersaw versus a team that has picked Timbersaw every single time it's been available to them, I don't know. I feel like Osmium really had some pretty glaring issues in their drafts. An easy fix, you could say, but this is also one of the only teams that lost versus TMM. So I think they've really been kind of hit or miss here, because sometimes they look great. They look like the team. They look like old Lava Best PC. They feel like Thunder Awakened, and other times it feels like they don't know what they're really doing.
And of course, maybe we could chalk some of that up to the fact that this is not the past Lava Best PC lineup. It's significant portions of it, but with some sort of new faces thrown into the mix, like Sebas and Draken. So it might take them a little while still to adjust. The problem is you have to make those adjustments in the middle of a group stage where you are starting to drop some matches. So as we go on, we might see Osmium sort of coalesce a little bit more as a team, but for now, in this game, they just get completely outplayed.
Yep, feel like game 2, maybe try something other than the Beastmaster opening. Maybe try something a little bit more band-wise. I just still think that the Timbersaw Viper was a little bit unacceptable. But hey, that's a nice win for DogChamp. And we were talking about them yesterday. This is the team that could start to pull ahead a lot of these kind of SA middle of the pack teams. So they'll take any win they can get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Points are, well, not at a premium for this dog champ lineup, but they're going to have that further value as they try to create that separation. So 1 on the board is a strong start. 2 would be even better, and they can replicate the draft and performance that they got in this game. Well on their way to threatening for that 2-0 sweep. So we shall see what game 2 has in store. Going to be stepping away for just a couple of minutes here while we get the teams ready to go again. So when we return, it'll be that second match. We'll see if Osmium can get the 1-1 split or if DogChamp will 2-0. Stick around.